I'm forcing my daughter to break up with her loving boyfriend. He's my best friend's son who is 21. My daughter is 14. After telling my daughter that what this man was doing was completely disgusting, followed by her telling me that even though she likes him, she wants to end things but is afraid to do so, I started gathering evidence that we could use against him. The very first point of plan, however, was to call up my best friend and tell her I had to cancel plans urgently. There was no way she and her son were coming over. Immediately after making the call, I discovered a terrifying text exchange between my daughter and the groomer that happened 2 months ago on Instagram, and this showed me exactly why my daughter was so scared of ending things. The exchange is as follows. Daughter, sorry I was just feeling lonely, had a bad day. Groomer, can you shut the F up for like a minute? Everything is always about you. I had a long effing day and I don't respond to your texts. So you effing block me? You're a piece of crap. You're insane, you know that? Daughter, okay, I'll just disappear then. Groomer, unblock me or I'll ruin you. You're a dumb 8th grader, you don't want to mess with me. Daughter, okay, I unblocked you. This whole exchange made me sick to my stomach, and I immediately told my daughter to block all communication with him, which she said she would. I checked in with her later to make sure everything was deleted, and thankfully it was. I told her that she was very strong and that I was proud of her. This seemed to touch her a lot, and she cried in my arms again. That night, I made her favorite home-cooked meal, and she laughed with us while eating it, so that was a nice moment for us all. However, after dinner, she sat down and spoke to us in a serious tone. What she said struck me as extremely odd. It was almost as if she had been manipulated into saying this. Almost out of nowhere, she went against everything she said to me earlier about being creeped out at times by him and not wanting him around, and instead started trying to convince us not to talk to the groomer's parents. She kept insisting she wasn't in as much danger as she made it out to be, and that she only said this because she was just in a bad mood, and thus was extra emotional. She kept saying it was her fault and seemed to get increasingly anxious. Me and my husband sat her down to try and work through the feelings and ask her where it was coming from, when she broke down into tears and told us that the boy knows that she told us and had messaged her. What I didn't know is that right before she blocked him, she messaged him out of fear saying she was sorry, and that she had told me about their relationship and what had happened. She told him that she wasn't allowed to talk to him anymore. She blocked him without giving him the chance to respond. He apparently knows what her Tumblr account is and decided to create an account just to message her there. And just like I had predicted, as soon as my daughter spoke up, she was manipulated into saying all of this by him. Here is the message he sent to her.
How could you think I'm a bad person? You're the person I trust the most in the world. Some of the things I have told you are things that I've never told anyone in the world. You are selfish and evil at heart, if you can really turn against me like that after everything I've done for you. When I've told you that I love you, I really mean it. But you are crazy to interpret me saying that as something more than just us being friends. You are like a little sister to me. Why the hell would I want a 14-year-old? You are delusional. Whenever I would speak to you about how we can't be in a relationship, it's because I thought you wanted something with me. I'm totally fine without you, dude. You're the only one who needs me. I'm the only one who has helped you through all your problems. When your friends turned against you, who was there for you and talked to you the whole night even though he had so much work to do? Me. Who was there every time you felt depressed? Me. I can name so many other things. I kissed you on Saturday because I thought that's what you wanted and felt like you would end yourself if I didn't. It's messed up how you wanted, and I felt like you would end yourself if I didn't. It's messed up how quickly you can turn on me and use the things I've done against me to hurt me. I don't know what else you told your mom, but I'm tired of your drama and don't really want to be friends with you anymore. Sorry it came to this, but it's something I've been thinking about for months. But all the stuff you do really affects, and I think it's best for me if I cut out your toxic energy. If you care about me at all, you'll go to your mom and tell her that you lied and exaggerated like you always do. You owe me that after everything I've done for you. Don't screw me over like you screw all of your other friends. When you told me about your drama, I really wanted to believe that you were in the right. But maybe your friends were actually right about you being a terrible person, because I'm starting to see your true colors now. Prove me wrong. You're no better than me, dude. You let this go on for so long, so you're equally at fault. Think about all the stuff you've done before you try to get me in trouble.
Reading this text made me want to puke, and the more I read, the angrier I got. The gaslighting and the manipulation that this vermin of a man used was so disgusting, it literally made my blood boil. My husband wanted to go over and beat him to death, and he even got in his car to do so. I had to talk him out of it. In the end, we decided to go with our own gut instincts, and using the information we had on hand about the situation, we decided to move forward and get law enforcement involved in this situation. Our reasoning simply being that this guy knew exactly what he was doing and must be held accountable for his actions. Getting the police involved certainly has brought a lot more information to fruition. A thorough search brought up some more disturbing text conversations between my daughter and this boy that was enough to charge him with indecency with a child and possibly assault. We continued to move forward with this and get our daughter the justice she deserved. The new findings, however, brought up some more information about our daughter's well-being. I could have never imagined how severe her emotional issues have been lately. I feel awful. I know teenagers are good at hiding the things that they want to hide, but I wish I noticed or tried to reach out to her more when I noticed she was being moody or isolating herself in her room. The police showed us a lot of messages involving suicidal ideation, possibly signs of depression, the phrases, "I'm a screw-up, I don't think anyone would care if I disappeared," being constantly said. They strongly suggested getting a counselor and provided us with some resources, as an example of how bad her mental health is. One of her earliest ever friends was a kid named Alex from school. I've seen him around and he has always seemed like a really sweet kid. Well, one day out of nowhere, my daughter started going off on Alex, calling him a fake friend and manipulative. Alex, being confused, asked her what this was about, and my daughter stated that Alex knows what he's doing and should stop, or else she will expose him. Alex is a closeted homosexual. I know that for a fact, and I know that this is what my daughter was referring to. I don't think she ever exposed him, however, so that's something, I guess. Now, I don't want to diagnose, but I'm really afraid about my daughter's mental health and behavior. I don't know if it's BPD, depression, or anxiety. I know she must be hurting deeply to have to resort to treating people this way at her age. I don't want to make her feel like she's an awful human being because she isn't, but I don't want to approach it in a way where it seems like I think what she did to Alex is okay, because it definitely is not. She says she doesn't want to go to therapy, but my husband and I agree that she needs to at least go to a preliminary appointment and speak to someone once. She is pretty open with us, but I know there are things she doesn't want to tell us about, and there are things that we really feel only a professional can help with. We've set up an appointment with both a therapist and a psychiatrist. Ultimately, my husband and I are extremely glad that we can move forward and potentially get the 21-year-old guy charged with something and have him out of our lives, but my daughter is far from being healed. Update. It's been well over a year since everything happened. After everything that happened last summer, we did eventually end up moving to a new state right before the school year started. My husband's job allowed him to relocate there, and after some time, I ended up finding a job of my own here. My daughter was able to start high school at a new school, and it was the best decision we ever made. She's very recently 16 now, and in her second year of high school, involved in track and quite a few other extracurricular activities, has a wonderful new social circle and a boyfriend, who's actually her age this time. Phew, he's been over for dinner a couple times, and he's a lovely young man, and treats my daughter with so much respect. I'm just so happy that she's happy now after everything's been through. There's still stuff she needs to work through, so she is attending therapy regularly, and it's helping her a lot. Overall, all the dust has settled, and my family is happy, stronger, and closer too because of all that's happened. As for the man who did all this to my daughter, we unfortunately weren't able to get too harsh of a punishment. We fought tooth and nail, and were only able to get him to be slapped on the wrist with a large fine. We've come to peace with it, knowing that we did all we could, and that he's out of our lives for good. We were able to place a restraining order on him so he won't be bothering anyone anymore, and he's on the Soras for my best friend, aka the mother of this man. We hadn't talked to each other in over a year. A couple months ago, she reached out to me to tell me she was in my new state for a business trip and asked me to get coffee with her. I declined at first, but she called me and told me she just wants to meet for closure and that she's missed me and wants to apologize for her part in everything. We met for coffee and she completely apologized for the way she treated my family through all of this and told me she only did it because she was afraid of her family falling apart, but now recognizes that it was selfish of her. She wanted to be friends again in some capacity if I was okay with it. I thanked her for the apology, but told her that I don't feel comfortable resuming a friendship with her and that it was best for us to go our separate ways. It was a really sad conversation. Me and this girl have been together through so much growing up. She has been my rock during some of the most difficult and scary times in my life and vice versa. It was hard not to be sad or second guess it, but I knew it was best. I don't want ties with her family or any connection there.